Good morning, everybody. Good to be with you. What a beautiful snowy morning we have. It's been a while since we've experienced snow, so be careful out there. It rained a little bit first, then it froze, and then it snowed, so it is pretty slick out there, so be very careful. But as far as snow goes, if they're correcting the forecast over the next 24 to 36 hours, we should see a substantial amount of snow. So recognize the blessing that is as spring comes and we need the water. I understand that the watershed in the mountains is in pretty good shape, but anytime we can get moisture during this time of the year, it's a good thing. But just another caution to slow down, give yourself plenty of time to where you need to be, and if you don't need to be on the roads, it'd be a good suggestion not to be. Grateful for those who keep our roads cleared. I saw them out there this morning first thing, making things just as well as they can be for us. I also want to give a big shout out to our law enforcement officers, both in Chubbuck as well as those who supported them. I think most of you have become aware that over the last day they had the experience of bringing in a pretty bad guy and getting him off the streets. I'm grateful for the professional way that this was handled. It's always disconcerting to hear that shots have been fired, but when the outcome is that nobody was physically injured, including the perpetrator himself, this is all good news. Our prayers need to be with those in law enforcement. I can only imagine what it must be like to be fired at with a firearm. That's got to have an effect on your psyche. So I'm just so grateful for these men and women that serve us in this capacity, and great kudos for the way this was handled and done in such a professional way, and we're just grateful for that. Let me address real quickly an article that was in the Journal this week. I was a little disconcerted that they took the direction that Mayor England said we wouldn't be taking anybody's property over with the new downtown. I just want you to note that's not an issue, and it hasn't been an issue, and I'm not exactly sure where that came from. I was asked the question if there would be any chance that we'd be taking some properties, and my full answer to that was absolutely not. And again, I'm not sure where that came from. We're grateful for those who are in that area over there. We want to see them grow and prosper right along with us. That entire project is intended to just be a blessing to everybody in this community, including those, and probably especially those who have properties over in that area. That City Hall is coming along. Make sure and get over and take a look at it. Again, our great hope is that we can have some good open houses there in just a few months. I want to address the coming months of this year of 2021. Our plan right now is to go forward with everything open. We see things happening in a wonderful way with the virus that we've been battling for the last year. And so our plan at this point in time is all the activities that we normally have, movies in the park, Chubbuck Days, playing baseball, all of those kinds of things. We plan on going full force forward with them. Now, with that in mind, I'm a realist at this point in time and recognize that we also, as we plan these things, we need to have that contingency plan of postponement or cancellation, because we don't know for sure what will happen. But it sure seems to me like that we have things in order at this point in time to where things will be able to happen. So that's our plan. We've talked to our folks who provide the movies in the park. They're on board. And so again, we'll be putting out schedules in the near future and making sure people have that. But I think we're going to have a wonderful year this year. Let me address one other thing, and that's our legislature. I hope each one of you get involved and follow the legislature. You're going to have particular issues that concern you, but there's something happening there that ought to concern all of us. There is a lot of talk about property taxes, and believe me, I get the angst that's out there with property taxes. There's a challenge with it. My concern is it seems like the only discussion that's happening in Boise right now is to cap the budgets of cities and counties and all other taxing districts. That is not a good plan. What that will do is cap the potential for growth for our state. And that, I just don't understand why they think that our budgets are the problem. Let me just share with you the things that I've written to all of the people who are on the local taxation, Government and Taxation Committee. I've written to all of the leadership of both the House and the Senate, and I've written to all of our local representatives my thoughts on the matter. And I've given them some suggestions of things that I believe are part of the answer to give us true property tax relief. And it's disconcerting to me that these topics don't even seem to be talked about. So I'm continuing to push that, and I'm going to ask for each of your help too, if you'll continue to help me push this. Let me share with you the 5 suggestions that I have given to them that, as near as I can see, aren't even being addressed and should be. Do we need property tax relief? We do, and there's a reason for that. I've told them, I said, the budget process has not changed. What has changed is in 2019, assessments went up substantially, and they did again this last year. And because of that, that's on residential property. Because of that, all of the taxes on residential property have risen, some of them a substantial amount, whereas taxes on agriculture and businesses have dropped. And so that needs to be addressed. And that isn't one of the things I talked about, but I have had that discussion with them. These are the 5 suggestions I gave them. The state should repeal all unfunded mandates to taxing districts and produce no more. Property taxes fund those unfunded mandates. At the state level, fully fund education, so all the school district supplemental levies will go away. This will provide major property tax relief. There needs to be adjustments to the circuit breaker and the homeowner's exemption. You know, that homeowner's exemption has been set at $100,000 for a long time. And that, when it was set at $100,000, there weren't a lot of homes that were over $200,000. They existed, but there weren't many of them. Today, all of them are over that, and some of them are the $400,000 and $500,000. So that needs to be adjusted. The circuit breaker, that's a place where we can address our elderly and those on fixed incomes. We do not want them taxed out of their homes. And if we work the circuit breaker appropriately, we can have a income level to where their property taxes, they can either freeze or find relief that is needed. That needs to be talked about. Fix the formula for new construction so growth pays for itself without a burden to the existing property owners. And 5, allow additional funding sources for local taxing districts outside of property taxes. I believe every one of those would bring property tax relief. And I've asked, please, if these aren't topics being discussed, they need to be. As near as I know, all they're talking about is capping our budgets. And I'm telling you, that's going to hurt us as a community. And because it hurts the communities, it's going to hurt the state in general. So please, write letters, write emails. If you have their phone numbers, text them and let them know that there's so much else that needs to be done, and this direction they seem to be taking is not the correct one. Together we can make some changes. They had a Senate Bill 1021 and a Senate Bill 1048. Both of them have been pulled because they recognized they were going in the wrong direction. But I read the new bill that replaces Senate Bill 1048 last night. It's not hardly any better. And again, they're stalking a cap. And as long as they're talking that way, what they'll cap literally is they'll cap growth in this state. And I don't understand why they would want to do that. That's pretty much what I have. This is Valentine's weekend, so I want to wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. Enjoy yourself this weekend, and we'll see you again next week.